In every war, there's always a place which comes to represent the heart of the horror. And here in Ukraine, that place is Mariupol. The southeastern port city has been the site of the heaviest bombardment in this war. Homes, hospitals, schools have all been hit. The casualty numbers have been hard to comprehend. By the end of the 7th week, the mayor said that 20,000 civilians had been killed.
They say we have liberated you. From what? We had a good life.
The city is an urban wasteland. But why is Mariupol so important? Vladimir Putin has been fixated on taking the city from the outset. But the Russian advance has been met with remarkable Ukrainian resistance. The industrial city holds great strategic and symbolic value for both sides in this conflict. Capturing Mariupol is key to Moscow's military campaign and has major practical value for Russia. They want to secure a land corridor between the Donbass and Crimea. Since Russia's invasion and annexation of Crimea in 2014, less than 30 kilometers has separated Mariupol from the Russian-controlled separatist territories in eastern Ukraine. So if Russia wants that land corridor uniting areas of their control, they need to take the city. As the biggest Ukrainian city on the Sea of Azov, Mariupol is also a base for the Ukrainian armed forces and is effectively the only major port serving the Donetsk and Luhansk regions of the Donbass. Controlling Mariupol secures control of the Ukrainian coast on the Sea of Azov. During Russia's invasion, they have targeted both economic and civilian infrastructure, intending to cause as much damage as possible. Mariupol is vital for Ukrainian trade too. It's an industrial centre for iron and steelworks, manufacturing and shipyards. As the largest trading port in the Sea of Azov, Mariupol is also vital for Ukraine's exports, including grain, coal, iron, steel and heavy machinery. Russia knows that controlling this key port, as well as its important industries, will put huge economic pressure on Ukraine's government. There is symbolism here too. To understand its significance, you need to look back to previous conflicts between these two countries.
Севастополь возвращаются в родную гавань, к родным берегам, в порт постоянной приписки, в Россию.
Russia seized Mariupol when they last invaded Ukraine in 2014. But Ukraine managed to recapture it, making the city a symbol of Ukrainian resistance. For Russia, for Putin, Mariupol lies on land that is historically Russian. He insists the city is part of the motherland. The territory, which now runs across eastern and southern Ukraine, was once known as Novorossiya, or New Russia, after the Russian Empire took the region from the Ottoman Empire in a series of wars in the 18th century. Russia's historic claim to Ukrainian land was, for Vladimir Putin, one basic justification for the invasion. He insisted that although Russia lost the territory, its people remained there. Mariupol holds significant propaganda value for Russia. When Putin launched the invasion of Ukraine on February the 24th, he said his plan was to demilitarize and denazify Ukraine.
Мною принято решение о проведении специальной военной операции.
His claims that Ukraine's government are Nazis who have committed genocide are not true, but it is a narrative that Russia has pushed for years. Mariupol plays into this propaganda because the city is the base for the Azov Battalion, a nationalist infantry unit formed in 2014 by volunteers who share ultra-nationalist views. The roots of this unit are far right and at least in part neo-Nazi. The unit has about 1,000 members who were incorporated into Ukraine's National Guard. They make up just a fraction of the Ukrainian military, but fit Russia's Nazi narrative. Beyond the strategic and symbolic value, control over Mariupol is a huge morale boost to the victor. A Russian victory in Mariupol enables Putin to give the impression to the Russian population that they are making progress, fulfilling their military goals of liberation from Nazis. For Ukraine, the loss of Mariupol is a catastrophe for the people whose home it was. The fall of Mariupol also sends a stark message to other Ukrainian cities. The people here have mounted a determined resistance, but at what cost? And where could be next?